Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're doing something absolutely fascinating. We're going to neutrally analyze the esoteric recruitment literature of a seriously mysterious organization. Throughout history, secret societies, philosophical orders, and esoteric groups have all used carefully crafted language to attract very specific types of individuals. And by looking directly at their source material, we can decode exactly what they value, how they're structured, and what ultimate promises they're actually making to their followers. So we're going to break down a primary source document from a group known as the Order of Ri B al Ohill. We'll figure out the mechanics of their ideology, relying entirely on the exact text they use to present themselves to the world. Let's get into it. All right, let's dive right into this really powerful opening text. The source literature doesn't just give you a gentle invitation. No, it immediately sets this highly dramatic, totally rebellious tone. It calls out to those who are unafraid to defy the forces of tyranny. Right out of the gate, boom, it establishes a dichotomy. It's basically telling the potential initiate, hey, there's an oppressive force out there, and we are the ones standing against it. And let me tell you, this kind of language is incredibly effective in recruitment literature because it immediately flatters the reader. It implies that just by reading and agreeing, you're brave, you're a seeker of light, and you're inherently different from the passive masses. Recognizing this tactic is absolutely crucial because it's a psychological trick used everywhere, not just by esoteric orders, but in modern political and corporate messaging too. Section 1. Inside the Demon's Head. So the source text explicitly translates the title of their organization, the Order of Ri B al Ohill, as the Demon's Head. Now, esoteric organizations frequently use these provocative, kind of dark-sounding monikers, and this usually serves a dual purpose. First, it acts as a filter, right? It pushes away anybody who might be easily frightened or who only looks at things on the surface level. But second, it serves as a unifying, almost secretive umbrella for the community of like-minded individuals they're trying to recruit. By adopting a title like The Demon's Head, the order immediately signals to you that their teachings are going to subvert mainstream conventions and really challenge traditional orthodoxies. Section 2. The Three Covens. The text promises this opportunity for really profound personal growth through three distinct branches, which they call covens. Now, these aren't just arbitrary groups. They're presented as a highly structured ladder. Initiates are basically told that these covens stand ready to infuse their journey with greater purpose. It's a classic, highly effective organizational structure. By providing these clear, named tiers, Fravashi, Myrikas, and Algol, the order gives its members a very tangible sense of progression. It's a roadmap for their ambition, a clear path going straight from novice to master. So let's break down exactly what each of these tiers actually represents according to the text. First up, we have the Coven of Fravashi. This group is explicitly positioned in the literature as a beacon of rebellion. The text describes the members of this coven as watchers and hunters who dare to challenge oppressive forces to inspire a spirit of resistance. This is the vanguard of the order. It is highly action-oriented. If you're a new recruit who is drawn in by that opening promise to defy the forces of tyranny, well, this coven represents your immediate call to action. It strongly appeals to the activist, the warrior, and the disruptor. Next, the literature introduces the Coven of Myriakas, and the tone shifts completely here. This coven is described as a conclave of wisdom seekers. Their primary function is amassing knowledge and sharing it with the rest of the order to foster a culture of enlightenment. So if Fravashi is the muscle and the outward defiance of the order, Myriakas is its brain. It's the library. This tier appeals directly to the scholars, the philosophers, and those who believe that true power comes from a deep esoteric understanding, rather than just outward conflict. And this brilliantly illustrates the duality of the order's foundational tiers. On one hand, you've got the outward, defiant resistance of the watchers and hunters, but on the other, you have the inward, contemplative knowledge-gathering of the wisdom seekers. Any successful ideological movement really needs both of these elements to survive, right? You need people to push back against the external world, and you need people to actually build the internal philosophy. The Order of Ri B al Ohill explicitly codifies this duality right into its very structure, allowing recruits to align with whichever path best suits their natural disposition. Finally, we reach the highest tier mentioned in the text, the Coven of Algol. The language used here is incredibly elevated. The text frames this group not just as mere members, but as a brotherhood of deities, gods, and goddesses. Their role is to guide the order toward ultimate transformation and spiritual awakening. This is the peak of the mountain. It's the ultimate promise of self-actualization, where the individual transcends normal human limitations, at least metaphorically speaking, to become an actual architect of the order's spiritual destiny.
Section 3. The Transformative Journey.
The text outlines a very specific three-step metaphorical path of ascension that members are going to embark upon together. Notice the recurring motif of fire and light here. Step 1 is to ignite the spark of knowledge. This is the awakening, that initial realization. Step 2 is to fan the flames of understanding. This implies the hard work of the Mariakas, studying, learning, and growing that initial spark into a roaring fire. And step 3 is to radiate the light, taking that internal realization and pushing it outward into the world. It is a highly structured, wonderfully poetic roadmap for personal evolution. Now, what's truly fascinating here is the philosophical core of this entire text. Like, why go through this journey? Why join these covens at all? Well, the literature states the objective super clearly. It's about embracing our divine will to become the masters of our own destiny. The goal isn't necessarily just to serve the organization itself. Rather, it's to achieve absolute self-mastery, self-discovery, and illumination. The order presents itself not as a master that you have to obey, but as a vehicle for you, the individual, to become your own ultimate authority. Section 4. The Final Illumination. The text defines its endgame with this pretty striking phrase, radiate the light of Lucifer. Now, in an objective analysis, it's absolutely vital to understand this in its proper esoteric context. The term Lucifer directly translates from Latin as lightbringer. In the context of this specific literature, it is used strictly as an allegorical symbol for extreme self-actualization, enlightenment, and breaking free from conventional bonds. Furthermore, the text immediately qualifies this bold statement by explaining its purpose, guiding others towards the realization of their own divine potential. So the ultimate goal here, according to the source material, isn't destruction at all. It's about becoming a beacon so bright that you awaken that exact same potential in everyone around you. To wrap up our explainer today, we are left to ponder a really fascinating paradox presented by this source material. The text begins by calling for a literal rebellion against external forces of tyranny, yet it ends by claiming that our true destiny is achieved entirely by embracing our own internal divine will. So, based on this literature, does true awakening come from fighting the oppression of the outside world, or does it come entirely from unlocking and mastering the hidden structures within ourselves? It's a powerful philosophical question, and it's brilliantly encoded right into the recruitment literature of the Demon's Head. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this has sparked your own curiosity to look deeper into the hidden structures all around us.